Welcome to episode 48 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to just rap battle and dance fight away our problems. Just doing the...
Our problems are the town of Footloose, and we are Footloose.
we're Footloose. We are the bacon. We're probably more like Chris Penn in that movie. We're both just like, we don't necessarily have... You know what, though? That's not true. We both have pretty good rhythm. Not that we're excellent dancers, but we do have good enough rhythm. I think we can,
I can tell you when someone's not in rhythm.
I know how to intentionally not be in rhythm. I miss dance fighting movies. I feel like there should be more dance fighting movies. Like, we got that, Drumline movie in, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I feel like
what was the other one, too? Step Up?
Step Up? Was that, a dance fighting one? See,
I believe so.
We need some more of those. But what we need is, I want it to be more like West Side Story, where it's it has nothing to do with dancing, but then the way they handle their issues and drama is through dance.
Listen, you murdered my entire family. And we're going to dance it off, bucko. I'm going to show you.
I am dressed like a bat.
Uncle Ben, Peter, great dance moves come great responsibility.
Well, I won't let you down, Uncle Ben, I swear. Oh, Uncle Ben really liked it when I did the samba. Oh, okay. It's pretty funny that, dance moves have names. I also, I think it's funny that, we know some of them, and, we can make them up. We know the robot. Doesn't make sense, though, Steven. Doesn't make sense. If it's a robot, it can do whatever you program it to do. It can do anything.
The robot can be the samba.
That's right. The Thriller dance is a robot if it's programmed correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple.
If it's Dr. Frankenstein knows what it's doing.
Yeah, exactly. I feel bad for any robot. I feel
was Michael Jackson a robot?
I feel like Michael Jackson was probably a robot. What other reason would he have to go? Hey, he was definitely.
It was malfunction.
He was malfunctioning, and it was just they were like, let it go. It's going to be in the 7th layer down. No one's going to hear it. No one's going to remember a Shimona or whatever he's saying.
He's just the programming's going pretty. He's just it's just like a tick.
And they're just what if they were Michael, stop it off. He's like, you have 7 seconds to comply. Okay, Michael.
Okay, Michael.
Shimona. Let him go. Murder everyone in this room, and it's not okay. It's not let him.
Just let him do his thing.
It makes a lot of sense that Michael Jackson was a robot. I think we cracked that case, Stephen. So every week we get together and we try to make something comic booky. Most recently been working on a semi-autobiographical time travel graphic novel musical. And Stephen, we are at the tail end of this thing. How are you doing? How did you do this week?
Doing good. I failed, but I didn't fail horribly. I got I think I'm on page 17 or 18, and I was 1 or 2 pages behind. So I think I did 8 or 9 pages.
I only wanted to record one song, and I also failed, Steven. So the failure hurts. Just
holding hands.
Just holding hands, failing the best of them.
Oh man, it's why we have issues though, man. We just have legitimate issues. It's just
I feel like I didn't dance enough this week. Is the problem, Steven? I need to pop and lock like Alfonso Ribeiro. I want to breaking and popping, just up and.
Oh man, remember what we called the number?
Just to try to order. Number, and they were so mad. For those of you who don't know, Alfonso Ribeiro, who was Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Fantastic performance, amazing character. Everyone loves him. If you don't know him, he's super iconic. His dance moves, his lines, his everything he did was amazing. That character was awesome. But for those of you who don't know, before he did that, when he was only a child, Alfonso Ribeiro had an instructional video series called Breaking and Poppin', teaching people how to breakdance. Steven, myself, and our friend Lee watched this video on YouTube. It was just watched his infomercial about this Breaking and Poppin' video, and there was a phone number at the end of the video. So of course, what else are you gonna do but we call that number immediately?
Of course we are.
So we call the number, and of course we're gonna call that number. We're a bunch of children, and we're in the middle of the night. Why would we not call this number? So first we just kindly ask to buy the Breaking and Poppin' VHS. So it starts with just we would like to buy Breaking and Poppin'. We're willing to pay anything. We want to learn to break dance immediately. It is yeah, time is of the essence. We need this now. They don't know what we're talking about. They are like, they're getting upset. And we were like, we demand to speak to your manager. And like, so they give us to someone else. And we're like, all we want is to buy Breaking and Poppin'. And our friend Lee, and the funniest thing I've ever, like, Lee is one of the funniest people I think I've ever met in my life. And like, he was just like, I demand to speak to Alfonso. Put Alfonso on the phone.
Alfonso on the phone right now.
So good.
It was so good, dude. Like, I mean, like the way he delivered it too. Like, they were just like so confused. I think they hung up on us. And we called them back a couple times. I think they were obviously selling something else. That 1-800 number was obviously passed along the pipeline. But
that was a pretty funny time. Like, we didn't do a lot of phone pranks, but we did do a lot of soundboard phone pranks.
Oh yes,
like,
we did. That was huge.
We used to call McDonald's in the middle of the night and just like pretend we're Carl from the Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and we're Shredder, and it was just so good. It was such a fun time.
Remember when we prank called Taryn at Blockbuster and we used the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, and she's like, "Hello, who is your daddy, and what does he do?"
Oh no. You're eating other people's lunches. Yeah. Oh man. I worked at Blockbuster for a while, and I used to get prank called all the time. People would call and just ask about like porn. They'd call and they'd ask about like just ridiculous stuff. They'd like I would get calls and they'd be like, "Do you have the Cat in the Hat movie?" And it would just be like like the same person over and over asking for Cat in the Hat, and I was like, "There's no way this is a real person." Like,
some legends say that he's still asking for the Cat in the Hat to this day.
On a rainy day, if you're there, the Cat in the Hat will appear. And it's just that guy with the VHS, and he is mad. Steven, you know what? Like, I had a week. I don't know. I was a little upset this week, but I'm gonna be positive, Steven. I'm gonna like take a positive spin on this, and I'm gonna say that although I had a bit of a week and like little rough patches and stuff, you know what I did this week that like I've been really putting off? A couple of things, Steven.
What'd you do?
Number one thing that I actually accomplished this week that like I've been having trouble, like actual issues accomplishing. I just couldn't make myself do it. Like, you know what? Like every once in a while you get like something where it's just like there's just too many steps in the like to do the thing, so you just don't.
There's like too many like, and not even like just steps. Like, for me to do this, I have to do this, but to do that, I have to do this and this, and I don't really want to do this and this. I'll do this, but not that. And then, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's just like the little thing there. It's just like this. It's just too much of a hassle, and it's not enough of a priority to actually feel like you're justified doing it. So like, so this week, I finally erased February from my dry erase board. Nice. And I wrote August 2021 and actually wrote the whole week out of what I'm going to do this week. So I was just like, this is what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to...
Good fresh reboot, basically.
Fresh reboot. I like, here's my first week of August. I'm going to like contact my son's school. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to, I'm like all this, like everything I have to do, I'm going to like right now I'm doing what was on there for today is I'm going to record We Have Issues, and it's like, so it feels good to just like finally be in the present with like, with
caught up, finally doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Dude, second thing, I finally, and I put on my list, but like I finally got my son registered for school. I was like, I was putting it off because like for several reasons. It was one of those things where I was like, okay, I have to take him and get like his checkup just in case. But they were telling me maybe I didn't need to get his checkup, but I still felt weird not getting his checkup because I wanted it to be like an actual up-to-date checkup and not a pretend up-to-date checkup. Because they were like, oh, well, you can get a checkup. They were like, as long as it's within a year, and he was technically seen less than a year ago. It was only a week away, but it was less than a week. I was like, that feels like cheating. I was like, so I was like, in my head, I was like, I feel like maybe he needs a checkup, and I want to make sure that everything's okay, especially given everything that's going on in the world. I want to make sure that, I'm doing the right thing and being a decent person. So I was like, just kind of panicking about that. And then like, so I finally got all the paperwork in, and, you put all the stuff in. They're like, you need forms of ID and you need proof of your residence. And I was like, okay, but like, isn't my ID proof of residence? That's absurd.
It literally has the address listed on it. I mean, why do I need 2 pieces of mail as well?
You need a proof of residence in order to get your ID. Why isn't my ID enough of a proof of residence in this situation?
For sure.
So I was
it's so nuts, like, dude.
So it's just like, so I got in my head, just like I do about like parking or like anything else, where it's just like, I was like, this is going to be such a hassle. So I just kept putting it off. And finally I was like, I need to do this week. So I did it, and I emailed, and I like scanned all the papers, I filled in all the stuff, I did everything I had to do, and filled out PDFs, and did like all the adulting in the whole world. And I emailed someone, and they emailed me back, and they were like, "I'm Brenda, and I'm going to be taking your case." And I was like, "Brenda, you are the wolf from Reservoir Dog, or from Pulp Fiction. You are the wolf from Pulp Fiction. You are here to like clean up this mess. Like
you are Kai-telling all over this."
Exactly. I was like panicked, and I needed someone who was going to be on this, like for sure, like someone who can come in and clean up a mess when the mess needs cleaned. And Brenda did it. Like she was my Harvey Keitel. She wolfed it up and totally was like the sweetest person in the world.
I love it.
And was very like, it was funny because like, you know, I emailed her back and forth, and then like by the end of it, she's like, "Oh, sweetheart, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day." You know, just like it
just making me melt over here, Brenda.
I was like, Brenda, you're the sweetest, and I love this.
That's how my Allstate lady was the same way. Her name was Barbie, and she was just fantastic. Like anytime I had concerns or calls, she always called me back when I left voicemail. She always emailed. They're the best.
How did that go? So for those of you, like I'm sure a lot of you have listened, Steven like was in an accident recently. Someone hit his car, tried to take off on foot, and they caught this woman in or near a random house just hiding. So they caught this person. They tried to hit and run and abandon their car, leaving Steven with an undrivable vehicle, basically. Your poor Jeep. RIP. Rest in peace, Jeep. But Steven's like, what happened, dude? Like, we have a quick update or like any update?
So so they decided to move forward and total the Jeep, which is what I was kind of pushing for because the damage was so extensive.
So that's good news in this case.
To some extent, but I've actually come to learn that the pandemic has done some other things to markets that I wasn't aware of, because like I actually received a check that was bigger than what I paid for my Jeep, which was awesome. I was excited, and then I started looking at like Jeeps, and like I'm like, oh my god, they're like $10,000 more than when I paid for a Jeep. So I'm basically just gonna be starting my loan over again, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
but I got a nice amount of money, and I'm not going to put all of it down because I mean it'd be stupid to put all that like raw cash down on a Jeep. So, but I'm looking. But right now Jeeps are hard to find, so I'm still in the Kia Soul, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. I'm still Donkey Konging it up.
But you're working toward like getting a new car. But you did, at least you kind of were hoping that they would total it at the time.
Yes, and I at least received that portion of it. It's just so funny how life works out, because we're like literally in the process of refinancing right now. So I can't even apply for a new car loan. It's just like all these things like this work, but it's all going to work. I think it's all going to work out to some sort of amazing kismet at the end. Like I waited because this beautiful Jeep's going to pull up, and that's my Jeep, and I had to wait a certain amount of weeks to receive it, so that I'm ready for it.
Something like beautiful and serendipitous, and it's going to just work. I agree. I think that's probably what's going to happen, dude. I'm first of all happy you're okay. Like we already talked about this on the podcast, so I won't go too much into it. But Steven was just like, I was in an accident. I was at work, and I was like, whoa, and I shirked my vest at work, and I was just like, tell me about what happened. You know, I was just like, are you alive? Who do I murder? But yeah, dude. So I don't know. I'm just glad that everything.
I came out completely healthy, which is crazy because everything in my Jeep broke. Engine broke, transmission smashed, frame bent, everything. I mean, like everything in the Jeep was total. So,
but I don't know. I'm glad that seems to be heading in a good direction.
Yeah, it's definitely positive. I'm not complaining by any means.
So the last thing that I did that I was like, dude, I've been putting this off for like the longest time. So I've been writing notes to Atlas since before he was born. And the last one I wrote, like okay, so it started off, I was doing it like about every week. It was like every week and a half, I would get a new food comparison on this website. I was using a website to track my baby's growth. And so they were like, this week your baby's the size of a fig. This week your baby's the size of a shrimp. Or like, you know, like that.
Yeah, I remember. So we did the same thing for Cambria. I remember that. Yeah. It's so exciting when you're like it's your first child, you know? It's like everything's so new.
Yes. So like it was amazing, dude. So like I don't know, like so in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, he has like this little heartbeat, and now he's like a little shrimp, and now he's a little avocado, and now he's a little, you know. So like I started writing notes to him, and I was like, so every time I would get an update like that, I would be like, dear fig, and I'd be like, you know, so like I'd write a note to him, and I'd be like, dear, you know, eggplant or whatever, and I'd write a note to him. So then like when we found out, you know, he was you know, a boy, who was like, oh, his name, we're gonna name him Atlas. I was like, dear Atlas, you know, and so then from then on it's been dear Atlas. So then, like, once he was born, it was like, of course, I'm a new dad. I'm, like, busy all the time. So it was like, it became, like, monthly. and it was monthly forever. Then like we had a couple of issues where like we weren't evicted, but our lease was like refused, like, you know, like our lease renewal was refused for reasons that like really upset me. And like that coincided with the death of my grandpa, and it was just like, it was like a really, really hard time. And that was like the first break I took, and it was like something like 4 to 5 months, and I was just like, I couldn't do it. You know, I was like, I couldn't bring myself to like talk about what had happened and like talk about the death of my grandpa and like, you know, like get into that stuff. And I was just like, but I was like, I need to, because the whole purpose of doing this is so my son has this stuff, you know, like I wish I had that, you know, so like I want to give it to him. Dude, so it's like, so finally I broke down, I did it, and I kept on it for like every month. I had a couple of hiccups here and there, but like it was every month. Then his mom and I broke up, and dude, I like, how do you write that particular note, you know? Like, how do you, like, that was a rough one. It was a rough one. I was just like, how do I
horrible, man.
I mean, like if, and you know, I'll never say I'll never say a negative word about Voldemort to him, but like, and like, I won't do it in the book, you know? So like, and like, but you know, he's going to have these notes that go from saying all of these amazing things and like telling the stories of like our like love and like all this stuff, and then it evolves to like me eventually saying like, this is what happens, you know? It's just like
sometimes
yeah, so it's just like, so I explained to him like what our life is now, you know, and like and like the good things about it. So, you know, I tried to keep it positive, and I was just like, this is what our life is now, this is like what our relationship has become because of this, thankfully, you know? So it's like, we already had, like, he was, you know, like the kids were my whole world. I was a stay-at-home dad, you know, so like he was already my best friend, you know, he was already the person I spent all of my time with, you know, but like, you know, moving out now, it's like even more, it's just the two of us most of the time, you know, so it's just like I take him everywhere, do all the stuff. So I have so much to say when I finally wrote the note. So then I kept it up for a little bit, and then, you know, the world had a whole virus situation, and then on like, but beyond that, it was like the whole George Floyd virus, the, you know, like everything at once was just like bubbling up. There was so much going on that I was just like, it's too much. I don't know what to say in these notes at this point. I know I want to say something about everything, but I don't know, you know, I don't know
how to put it together.
I don't know how to put it together, like, for the, you know, so I was like, I took like, oh my gosh, I took months off like during that, and then finally I was like, I sat down and I just like spilled as much as I could about like him being in virtual school, the sickness in general, and how it's been perceived and how it's been handled and how everything, you know, like just as much as I could as a person, you know, like I like what
just
I
to have that like that
just to have
that part of the story written for him, basically, you know, like.
Because it's like we all know this is going to be talked about in history books, and like when he's in school, when our kids are in school, they're going to learn about this time, and it's not going to be taught the way that we've experienced it. It's just not. Like that's just like, that's how all experiences are, really. You know, like they're not going to talk about how, like, I mean, they might say like a lot of people lost their jobs, but they're not going to talk about the weirdness of like everyone in my house not working, but like my parents bringing home a bunch of food from like my mom's restaurant and stuff because they had to get rid of it somehow. So now we have like 100 carrots, and I don't know what to do with 100 carrots. So now I make carrot soup, and like, you know, so it's just like funny, weird stuff, like, you know, like the fun anecdotes that happen because of it that weren't necessarily like the general experience that everyone had. Because like, I think that's kind of what makes us interesting. Like people could say like, you know, we're not beautiful, unique snowflakes, and like, oh, if everyone's unique, no one's unique. But I think that's nonsense. Like, I think we are all unique, just not in the virtue of being unique. Like, uniqueness isn't the thing that makes us special. We're like, the thing that makes it, we're like, we have many things that make us special, and we are all like, you know, variously unique in, you know, multitudinous ways, whatever. But anyway, so like we all have our like weird experiences. So I was like, so what do I talk about? Do I like generalize? Do I talk about like our specific experience? Do I talk about like how he basically didn't leave the house for several months, you know, or just like, what do I, you know? So anyway, so I finally talked about that, and then like, dude, after that, I know I'm going on for so long, but things just kept happening. I was like, things just kept happening. I was like stuck in virtual school doing all this stuff, and I was like, you know, single dad, and just like kind of stressed out about it all, and I just couldn't keep up with it. And I didn't. And then like I let the notes slip for like a year. And it was like a full year. And I saw last month it was finally like a year. And I was like, I can't believe I haven't written a note in a full year to this child. You know, I was like, this is, I know in the grand scheme of things, like maybe it doesn't matter. Like, you know, like he already has.
It'll be like a very brief hiccup throughout his reading while he's reading.
Exactly, and like, and it's not like I'm skipping 100 pages and then adding one. Like, no, it's just gonna keep going, but the dates are gonna change. However, it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, like I want him to have as much like content of his dad as possible. You know, so I was just like, I need to. I like all last month I had the book on my desk and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I just didn't. I just couldn't like make myself do it. And then like finally last night I did it. I was just like, I'm gonna do this. Like last night I was like, I'm gonna do this with my board and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write this note and I'm gonna put it on there and this like, and I did it. I freaking did it. And I like it.
That's awesome.
It felt good. It felt so good, Steven. It feels so good to do it. And like, and it makes me cry when I do it. I hate that, but I have to do it. Like it feels right.
You're like, dear Mister, I'm too good to call or write my fans. Why are you saying this to Atlas? What did Atlas do?
Why am I rap battling my son in these beautiful notes?
It's all about rap battles and dances. This episode is.
But how's your life been, Steven? I feel like I just talked for like 3 hours. So
Let's see. My life's been pretty good. We had Oliver's 7th birthday. You know, Grandpa Oliver. Oliver is Cambria and Chase's cousin through my sister. Oliver is 4'6". Isn't that nuts? He's 7 years old and he's 4'6". The kid's like a giant. He's just like storming around the house, like just
yeah.
He's gonna be so tall, dude. But or he's gonna stop growing altogether. That's just his final height. I don't know. But
that would be amazing. Well, I think the worst thing about that, like at his age now, is like people always, anytime like you're a little tall, they're like, oh, he's gonna be a basketball player.
Yeah,
he's gonna be like that. He's gonna play football. He's gonna play basketball. He's gonna do that. Like no matter how disinterested you are in any of that stuff, they're like, he's gonna be. You're gonna see this guy,
dude.
basketball.
That's all I ever got growing up was like, you play football, right? I'm like, no, I don't. My brother doesn't either, and he's equally as big. And then my dad was a football star, and he hates his life because his son's never played football. But, but yeah, no, like I definitely dealt with that growing up. Like every teacher, even the coaches trying to get you to play. Like, oh, you're come on, boy, let's get on the team. No, I'm just gonna keep drawing Android 17. Okay, that's what I want to do with my life. But yeah, no. But so we had Oliver's party, and then like just the normal surviving 2 daughters, and all that good stuff. You got to experience them when you were recording the track. And that's how they are with me all day. Like they entertain themselves for brief moments.
Your daughters are little, like they are devious. Like they are like okay.
Chasey,
like your daughter, like Chasey will do something. Steven's youngest daughter will do something knowingly. Like those kids that do something like she knows. She goes like she has like
that stare laugh. Yeah, it's genetically woven into her.
Like she will. Okay, so I was trying to record. We're doing a cover of a song from Lost Boys. Not gonna say which one, but it's gonna make everyone cry, Little Sister. But
and make you play a saxophone just to throw a little confusion in the
no. So I'm trying to record this thing, and Chasey walks in, and she's just like intentionally grabbing the microphone and like looking at me, and then grabbing my arm and looking at me, and I'm like, just go, just
get out of here.
Out of here, child. So I said some horrible things to her. I was just like
he basically just emotionally berated her.
I like to exist as if like people know me well enough to know that I can make that joke because it's so ridiculous, right?
I mean, I hope that, dude, like, I'm like almost always being ironic, like, or like just not being me. And like, sometimes I forget like my audience and I'm like, oh, wait a second. They might not know what I'm talking about. And I just, if I read this without any context, I'm a complete dingus. Like the people are going to hate me. So
it's so interesting, dude. Like, I know we're talking about Chasey, but like, just translating yourself for people is so interesting sometimes. Like the fact that not everyone can read a room, and like and not in a like not in a way because they're naturally socially inept, but in a way that like they are so ingrained in their own language. Like they're so used to speaking a certain way, however they are, that they don't recognize what you're doing or what your intention is. So like you could be doing a bit or like making a joke, and someone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Why would you do that to a child? I was like, no, like, I would never do. I would
see,
never,
it's like,
I promise.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that's how I handled it?
Not funny. It's not funny because there's like child getting hurt. It's funny because I would never do that. I'm like, oh no, and like, you know, so like, so it gets weird. Like, dude, I just like I make silly jokes on Twitter all the time, and like every once in a while, someone will come and like say something, and I'm like they'll respond as if it's not a joke, and it's not even that I'm making an inappropriate joke or any kind of controversial joke. Like I just posted I posted the rules of love, and I just quoted the Rickroll, like Rick Astley song over and over, where it's like, rules of love. Never give them up. Never let them down. Never, like, and it was just like I was quoting the lines of the song. And it was just like a silly joke, a way to rickroll people like who aren't paying attention. But someone commented and they were like, "Well, I don't think that's true because there are no rules to love." And I'm just like,
well, technically speaking,
I was like, so I just continued. I just quoted the song back at them, but
you know the rules, and so do I. Or did you say something like
so
that?
I wrote, I just want to tell you how I'm feeling.
Gotta make you understand.
Yeah, so I wrote that back to them, and they're like, so they didn't respond back, and I was just like, I hope people understand. Like, I have no ill intention when I'm posting something like that. It's just like a silly joke with no victim. Like, there is no one, like, there's no one who should be upset at that. It's just like a silly thing. But when someone argues back, and it's just like, oh, am I supposed to have this?
All right, now it's time to have a heated debate about love. Because
do I have a heated debate about?
You know what? If you're pulling your fangs out, I got steaks. Let's do this.
It's true though. It's true. Like, I had a moment with someone yesterday on Twitter. I had a moment when I literally sincerely couldn't tell if someone was doing a bit. Someone said, they were like, all music sucks today and blah blah blah, like, and like they were like having this like serious like, all music's bad, and you know how I know that? Because WAP, or
WAP, yeah,
WAP, you know, because WAP is on the radio and it's number one and blah blah blah, and like I was like, I thought they were making a joke. I was like, oh, you know how we make jokes. This is funny. Like, you're the thing.
I wrote my I know I make this joke all the time. I wrote in my diary that evening, at blank so and so had a funny joke.
Like, it was so ridiculous that I was like, oh, if that's your opinion, I literally have no interest in having a conversation with you. Like, I'm not, like, I don't want to argue. I'm not. I will live on my hill while you die on yours elsewhere.
I believe he said something on the lines of like, songs like Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff are instant, like they become, you know, there aren't no hits that don't become instant hits because the whole stream of the world can just.
He's imagining that there's some sort of like supernatural zeitgeist that automatically like absorbs all good music when it happens. Where it's like, that is so flawed as an argument. Or it's just like, first of all, there are people. Okay, sir. There are people in the world who have never even heard Bohemian Rhapsody. It is a beautiful, wonderful song, but there are people in the world who, one, don't like it. Which, like, to me, subjectively, is like, that's ridiculous. If it sucks, it makes me feel like, are you sure you've heard the song? You know, but it's also a ridiculous song. Like, if you listen to the whole of it, when you get to the end, the Wayne's World scene of it all, the fun part for most of us is ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Is it fun? Yes. Is it original? It feels that way because in my life I've never heard anything like that. Like, is it referencing other things? Probably, you know. But it's like, it is a beautiful, you know, like, combination of sounds that I, as a person, have never heard prior to hearing that. It was amazing and it was fun. It was novel. It was interesting, and like, I loved the way it was performed. I liked copying it in the car, you know, just like everyone else.
You know what song had like a very similar feel, like, and I know, I mean, it's very apparent, and like everyone loved this song, but it's very Bohemian Rhapsody in that way. But the Black Parade, man, when that song first came out, it was such a magical song, and it basically encapsulates that same energy, you know, like this story building, great song. But like, man, the Black Parade was a magical song when that came out too.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. Screw that guy.
Screw that guy. We're just gonna talk music.
No. Like, honestly though, like his point was that, like, oh, if songs are good, everyone will know them. That is such a bad argument.
It's not true.
If you believe that popular music dictates what is good, no, it dictates what is popular or what is enjoyable to the masses at the time. And if you're using that argument, it also applies to wet ass pussy. Yeah, like. It does.
It does.
Because here's the thing. Like, music, just like every other art form, is just like food. It's we imbibe it, we consume it, we try our best to digest it however we can. Like some things are snacks, some things are appetizers, some things are entrees, some things are simply junk food, and sometimes we want to dance around like idiots and just listen to WAP, and that's freaking fine, and like there's nothing wrong with that. And if that's what's popular in the zeitgeist at the moment, then what you just said was that's what defines goodness, and then therefore you're wrong again. Like you're like your argument is flawed inherently, and just it's absurd. It's absurd that anyone feels that way. You don't have to like radio. I don't listen to anything on the radio. I put on the radio when my CD player breaks, because I'm an old person who has an older car. But when my CD player breaks down, I put on the radio. I end up just like begging for Journey, or what my new favorite
Guns N' Roses are a good one too.
My new favorite rock song is Take Me Home Tonight. That's like right now, that's like my jam. I am like, every time that comes on, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to hear. And probably because I just don't want to work and I just want to like go home tonight.
I just want to, dude. But there was a meme that ruined that song for me, man. Like someone put like a picture of Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie. And like the beginning of that song sounds just like double. It's not double. Yeah, he's Ed with 2 D's though, right? Yeah, he's the special Ed. But anyways, like sounds just like him, dude. You should check it out. It's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, I totally will. That's amazing. I can't wait.
It sounds like identical to him. It's creepy. It's weird. But that song is fantastic, and especially like we like obsessed over that Punk Goes 80s.
Yeah, Punk Goes classic rock, Punk Goes 80s, Punk Goes 90s. Like those were so much fun, and like I didn't care about the radio music because it just doesn't appeal. It doesn't appeal to me. Like since I was a kid, most of it I just don't care about. Are there gems that I appreciate? Yeah, totally, 100%.
Yeah, they happen, but they're not that common.
I'm not just like a general like hater of popular music. I like there are things that speak to me and things that don't. But it's just like it's like I see the appeal. I wouldn't take it from anyone. It's just not for me. And like I wish that people like that would just at least adopt the "it's just not for me" mentality, and recognize like maybe they just need a larger sample size, man. Like you were saying like the Black Parade. Like not everyone liked that song. I'll tell you what my relationship with that song and that album was though. When My Chemical Romance first came out, and they were like tied to the Used really tightly. Do you remember that? Like
they were like tethered,
like tethered, like best friends. I like the Used, and I like other like screamo, emo, like pop punk stuff.
Silverstein, Census Fail.
Yeah, dude, like I love that stuff so much. But for some reason, My Chemical Romance, in my head, like for some reason, I just had the idea that they were just like too flashy and like too radio rock or like too popular. And for some reason, I like when like Helena and like
Ghost of You,
and like I'm Not Okay. When those songs came out, I was like, nah, I don't like. It reminded me. It was like that band, All American Rejects and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like it's too radioed for me. I like it's too much. I don't. It's too mainstream sounding. I'm not interested. I'm cooler than this, and I just dismissed it outright. Wrongly so. Like because here's the thing. So then when Black Parade came out, it just freaking like got me. Like it just like I heard that song and I was just like, I love this. I was like, I sincerely love this song. And like I've never been a person like prior to that who was like I never loved the theatrics of bands. Like I don't care that Kiss dresses up or anything. Like I'm just like I want music. I want to enjoy the music. I don't care about your like costumes. I don't, But I loved it, dude. Their whole shtick of like dressing as if it was like Death has a band. It's like if the Grim Reaper had a band, this is it. Like
the full like almost like band attire, but like with like black and white. And...
Yeah, dude. I've so, freaking bought into that so hardcore and like loved it. I fell in love with that album. Like everything on that album was beautiful to me and just like wonderful. And it made me go back and I was just like, I need to stop being such a freaking hater and stop and like recognize like what the music was and what they were doing. And I did, and I enjoyed it. And like because like we all have like some fences up where it's like and like this is how I define myself and this is who I am, and like
especially in that era in our lives we were definitely much more critical of the things we would let like alter what we considered was our like what we curated, like this is ours, this is what makes me Steven. very, very critical of that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And then like, but it was like, you know, at some point, every once in a while, you like, you don't go full Phoenix, but like you burn off little bits of yourself,
Yep.
and like, you know, like get rid of that. That's garbage, you know. Like you have to grow, you have to try, or else you end up being that person who's like, all the radio sucks. The only thing that was good was Bohemian Rhapsody. No, it's not. That's insane. That's an insane like opinion. You cannot. I was so certain that they were messing with us and trolling, and they weren't, Steven. It was legitimately this person's opinion, and it was so bad and so wrong that we had to mention it here, because like, please don't be that person.
Dude,
Just like,
it's crazy like how people just don't expand. Like I had like I seldom get into like social media spats, but like I was on Facebook, and it's the 30-year anniversary for the Black Album, and Metallica fans are notably ignorant. Not to crap on all of you, but like at least on the forum pages or on Facebook, they're like just notable jerks, dude. They're just
there's always that like super vocal minority in any fandom, no matter what the fandom or the medium or whatever. For whatever reason that exists, like Rick and Morty too. But go on.
But I should probably, you're exactly right, because I got so many likes and love reacts to my response that like, yeah, you're right. A majority of the people on that were in support of whatever. But anyways, so for their 30th anniversary, they were doing like a collection of like different artists were covering their stuff, and Miley Cyrus does Nothing Else Matters. And like, I understand there's opinions, you know, you can have an opinion on whether something is good for you, but like there's no denying that Miley Cyrus can, like, she sings like a very soulful, like, you know, like she has a very powerful voice. She's not missing her notes, you know what I'm saying? And like,
you don't have to like the style, but
exactly. If you're not vibing the style, that's fine. But you can't say that she's not talented. She's talented.
Well, you can't say you can't say she doesn't have the skill, which is like all you can measure objectively is whether or not she's in key. You know, like is she staying in key? Like, can she sing these notes? Yes, that's objectively true. That means that someone's allowed to like it at least. Someone can like it even if she's not. If she's like William Hung or whatever, and she's singing like She Bang, She or like whatever. You're like, like no matter what, like
no matter what, if someone likes it, yeah, for sure.
But you have no right at all telling people that anything's objectively bad if someone is just simply objectively skillfully doing a thing. You know, like it's silly. You can just say it's not for me. It's not, you know.
It's crazy. And that's what they were basically doing. They were like, they were all like in like just, the vocal minority was just like rejecting this album. And it's like, man, like it's literally just a celebratory, like, hey, this album is 30 years old. All of these artists are getting together and they're going to make this album. And then all this money's going to go to like charity. And it's this great thing. And you're just over here just griping about how these songs don't sound Metallica enough. And like,
you know, like,
it's crazy.
Like, as much as I want everyone to like hit the like button, which I do, I want everyone to subscribe and like the podcast. Dude, like I've like gained so much perspective being on YouTube and seeing like more popular YouTubes and like just like videos in general. I've become more like conscious of likes and dislikes and subscribers and that kind of stuff because of doing this. And so funny to see something like Bohemian Rhapsody. I guarantee you right now, there are at least 1,000 dislikes on Bohemian Rhapsody videos on YouTube. You say, go ahead. Like you just said that it was not you, of course, but the idiot just said it was objectively like it was such a, you know, the best music and everyone loves it and everyone around the world and that's what makes it good. Go look at those dislikes, sir. They exist, and they exist because of people like that guy who don't understand that something's just simply not for them. You know, like you're hitting
the whole world
when it's like it's just so absurd. Like we need to. I mean, I hate it. We've talked about it in the past. Like people should. Like I wish people would just bond over things they actually enjoy. Like bond over shared joys instead of shared hatreds. And
I never like, unless it's like, I have my people around me and they haven't seen it yet, and maybe I want to give my opinion on something, but like, like I will never pull a project down, even if it's somebody I've never even met. I have no desire to like ruin someone else's day, basically, because it's not something that fits my criteria. Like my criteria is weird. Okay. It's like, you know, it's like either it's like Zelda, Metroid. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand that like I have a very weird checklist.
It's Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's Zelda Majora's Mask. It's Zelda.
It's all the Zelda.
Yeah. But no, dude.
The color green in this movie. That's not for me.
But yeah, it's funny. And like I know we're also biased to an extent because we create art and we don't want people just out there crapping on our stuff just to be vocal monsters. Stop it. Love us a little.
Amy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
I love Amy. Amy, by the way,
so
is a beautiful, wonderful artist.
She is fantastic.
She's a fantastic artist. Like I knew she was good, but like I saw like recently she shared like one of her pieces with us, and I was just like, oh, okay, you're too good, and I don't like this, Amy. Like this is why you have those fantastic opinions and such a great eye for art, because you're good at stuff.
You know what you're doing. I'm over here lying to the people.
All right, Steven. So what are you going to be doing this week?
I just want to get the colors done, man. I want to say I'm going to finish because I want the colors done. Dude. I want to be done coloring this thing.
We're so close.
I want to start working on music. I want to start doing all this. I want to get the cover pages because we have to. I mean, let's face it. After I get it all shaded, we have to really get through and edit and see. Yeah. I mean, then it's going to become like not the boring process, but the even less fun process of like really making sure this print's right.
I was gonna say, well, you know what though? I have a lot of faith that the print's going to look pretty good the first time, and we're gonna get really hyped about it. I think that's like I think what's gonna happen is like we're gonna see it, and we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, yes, we have to finish, like we have to fix a little on page 3, but oh my gosh, and like and it's printed. We're gonna like have this thing, and like it's printed. It's amazing. Like I can sell, dude. Like I printed my Bullet and the Beast issue 1. And I was so excited for it. And I brought it to work, and I was just like looking at it, and I was all excited. And one of my coworkers was like, "Can I buy that from you?" And I was like, "I would have just." I was like, "I'd just give you one." I got like 5 of them, and no one's asking me for one. And she was like, "No, that's amazing, and I want to buy it from you." And she gave me $20.
That's freaking awesome.
I was holding this $20 bill, and I was just like, I just sold like my own comic book to someone, and they really wanted it, and they were excited for it, and I was like, and I have more of them.
So, well, now it's up to us to like really make it so she, like, you know, that coworker has like a literal like piece of like your legend,
exactly,
which is cool. We got to follow through and give it to them.
Yeah. No, we have to do it for her. No. I'm so excited though. So this week you're gonna try your best to finish coloring.
I'm just gonna go for. I'm gonna keep saying that and just push as hard as I can to get as much done. So that way, like, I just want to get as much done as possible. Who knows? Because some of the pages do go quicker. I've learned that green pages are longer but less shading, but they just take longer because I have to retrace. Yeah. Basically, I retrace every pencil that has the green line. So, but I don't know. It's good. I can get a lot done. So I'm gonna do my best to push through and get it all done. The campfire pages might get a little tricky, but we'll see.
Dude, we're gonna finish this book by episode 50.
True that. Definitely. Oh, definitely.
How cool is that though? Like whatever. We can try to say whatever we want, but like we're gonna have a finished book by episode 50, and episode 50 is gonna be awesome, right?
It is gonna be awesome. I'm excited for episode 50.
Episode 50 is already going to be a lot of fun. If you don't know, we're going to do a special Lost Boys episode. We've been talking about it for a few episodes. We're just going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be silly. I'm sure we're going to still talk about our issues and whatever nonsense, but we have a few special things in store for everyone, and I'm so excited to share everything. Steven, it's going to be so much fun, and we're going to finish book by then. Like I can't imagine a world in which a couple weeks from now, we don't have a finished book because we're already this close to it. Fast forward to episode 50. Earlier. Why do we have to kill on episode 50? No, but thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. If you're only listening on one of the various podcasting apps, get on YouTube. Go subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We beg of you. We need this.
We want 500 by 50, 5 by 5.
We're trying so desperately. We're trying, I want to post this everywhere. I try really hard. I love all of you. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm trying, I'm at the desperate fool at the end of this pitiful rope. I don't know what to do. But no, really, I love all of you. I'm so thankful for you. I'm thankful if you're one of our patrons. We love you. We are thankful for you. Just everyone watching this, know that we appreciate you. We know you don't have to watch this. We know that there's endless opportunities out there for content. And if you don't know that, I just lied. There is no other content. We are the only thing to watch. That being said, we do. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
This has been episode 48 of We Have Issues. We'll see you next week.
Boom. Do we have any Patreon questions?
No. What does Steven's underwear look like today?
They're gray. Hanes. Joe Boxer advertisement. Remember that one?
I realized while I was at work that I have a hole in my underwear. I was like, I'm an old man now. I'm an old man. I'm a dad. I'm a dad old man.
I actually have a pair of underwear that have this special like front cup thing that's like really comfortable, but they have holes like on the side. And I'm like, so listen, I just gotta keep the belt tight enough so that the underwear never slips out of, so you know that the side has a hole in it, because I'm not throwing them away. Okay, they're good.
They cup everything perfectly. I can't.
They were like $25 for the one pair. I don't know why Tina bought them for me, but they got dinosaurs on. They're fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, that pair of underwear isn't going extinct. All right, they're not getting rid of these. There's no meteor coming to. Nothing's meteor than this, baby.
The blonde lady's like climbing up in the Jeep, pulling her sunglasses down, all weird, and like trying to like
turn his head.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's a good movie. It would be better if it had your underwear in it, I think. But
John's gonna gif it. I just know it.
I was gonna say, if John doesn't gif like Jurassic Park looking at Steven's underwear somehow.
You know what? If you're pulling your fangs out, I got steaks. Let's do this.